want to talk about Canadian tariffs because they came out today. And I made a couple slides for you.
Tacked on the 25%, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so let's see. So as of today, the new tariffs, 25% on Mexico, Canada, and 10% on China. Crazy, by the way, China got the low end of the stick.
I was going to say, why is China 10?
China, the geopolitical rival, got 10%, and our closest allies, Mexico and Canada, got 25%.
This is so bad for the mogul merch team.
The real victims,
gonna
dude.
suffer, bro.
Yeah, that's brutal. And obviously what you're going to do is you're going to build a factory here right here in America.
Oh, yeah. We'll just get that started out.
You just build a comparable garment factory to China right here in America and not just raise prices. Anyway, so the tariffs came out and I read a bunch of stuff about it and I wanted to show some interesting things. First of all, I found quotes from like a lot of big company CEOs saying the very obvious thing out loud, and I highlighted it for you here. AutoZone said, we are going to pass those tariff costs back to the consumer because that's historically what we've done. This is the AutoZone CEO in their last earnings call. Columbia, the sportswear, outdoor wear, they said, we're going to raise prices. It's going to be very difficult to keep products affordable for Americans.
Oh.
This is Walmart, whose CFO said they will likely raise prices. We never want to, but probably will be the case where prices will go up for consumers. We're pretty familiar with tariffs and they're inflationary for customers. So listen, I have reached a point where I am actually super excited for these tariffs. I'm very happy. I want them to happen because I think I've realized when I talk to people that are tariff believers is that it just sounds so good. You know, if a Walmart CEO tells you it's not going to work, you're like, fuck that guy. I don't trust him. I bet it will work. People just want to believe that it's going to solve the problems and get rid of income tax. So I think we have to try it and just people have to see. Like, it's, you know, it'll suck for prices to go up, but then people will see and then we will. We haven't had tariffs like this level of tariffs in like 100 years.
What's the other side argument for tariffs ending income tax? How does that even work? Like, well, I know it doesn't actually work, but what is even the logic to arrive at that?
At one point in American history, we were funded by tariffs, which when America was a lot smaller. And, you know, the good comes in on a crate. We take a tax. America takes that money and can pay for its services.
What year was that?
It was like in the 1800s. It was like 1890.
What?
Or, you know, it was like 1890 to maybe 1912 was the last time. First of all, it's right pre-Great Depression, you know, World War I. It causes all your allies to be at loggerheads with each other, but it was a small amount. It's not that much. Like, even if we had I think 10 to 25% tariff on everything in America right now, it would be such a small percent, you know, of our national budget now. It's just too big. We already don't, I mean, this is where we get now with income tax. This is where we would get we still have to print the difference. We have to cut spending in some way, no matter what, but there's no way we're cutting it all the way down to here, even with Doge, okay, cutting the penny. There's just no way to do it. So I have zero bias in this. I don't care who says it. I just don't think it's going to work at all. But like, I realize now that we have to just do it so people can see. And
I mean, if people want a very I joked before, but a very direct, this will affect like the merch business for like Mogul Moves in the yard. Two of the vendors we work with right now, one is Canadian and one is Chinese. The goods we make in those places are because we cannot make them in the US. So if we're going to make them at all, the price just has to go up. There is no choice. Like, I cannot go make the jacket I want to make in the United States because the factory for that type of jacket doesn't exist in the United States. So I just have to pay more money to get
Yard viewers, he's soft launching a price increase. Don't buy into his lies. Demand cheaper goods. And you can always get Failed Coast merch starting Monday. Really great. Look at this. Awesome. Wait, can we get a full screen on this awesome Enron quarter zip? Is that brand new along with the two-tone Enron hats at failedcoast.co launching this Monday during Marketing Monday? Holy, that's awesome. And they're all American made in Bangladesh. I don't know where they're made. You can check. Anyway, I want to show this. So these are some of the things that very likely will have immediate price increases starting with the tariffs that rolled out today. Things that we import a lot from Canada and Mexico. Grains, livestock and meats, sugar, tree nuts. There was a couple more. Again, like you said, the jacket factory doesn't exist, everything you want. And Wall Street Journal put this out today. And again, if you tell someone this, they're gonna be like, I don't trust Wall Street Journal. Fuck them. So you just gotta wait and try it. So they called it the dumbest trade war in history because the idea of these tariffs is like, we shouldn't import anything at all. Like America should be a perfectly closed economy where we make everything at home. It's not going to happen. There's some things maybe we'll start making it with these tariffs. I get it. I think the idea of EV and certain tariffs on China to like try and get some of those services back in America, I get it. But trying to make it so every single country's thing all gets made here in America is it's not going to happen. And I think they made a good point in this article, even if you don't like the Wall Street Journal, which I don't really.
You just don't want manufacturing to come back to this fucking mission, dude. You just don't want people to get the manufacturing jobs back.
And then I'm also worried about this, which is that I feel like we're forcing all of our allies into a lovey-dovey relationship with China because China's not doing tariffs on them. China's like, we'll trade you anything and everything at all times, and we make everything.
Yeah, you're like an alienating.
You know, I think we had these real good
your allies and if yeah, it's so insane to me.
That's all these things bother me and make me annoyed. But, you know, I'm just going to try and wait it out and see how it works. And, you know, maybe it saves everything and I'm dead wrong and then I'll be happy. Oh, Trudeau's live? Responding to tariffs? Who's got a link?
Big John?
You couldn't be more lame duck than this. He already resigned.
What's wrong with Trudeau, dude?
Trudeau just his nation. There we go. I got it.
Much. I also want to speak directly to Canadians
in
this moment.
Should have brought getting back in.
Many of you are anxious. We are all in this together.
This is maybe just my marketing brain. I think you should sound angrier. I mean, it doesn't matter. He's done. He's cooked, right? But I think if you're going to fire people up, you got to sound a little fiery.
This is Team Canada at its best.
He sounds like tired, about to cry.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé avec les
now he's doing it in French. Oh, God. I heard they're doing a 25% tariff on Tesla cars specifically in Canada, which is actually kind of base because it just like to straight fuck you to Elon, who's like part of the. I think that's really funny. Okay, well, he's French spamming. This is the quote that matters. He's putting 25% tariffs on 106 billion worth of American products. So now we are in a full-on trade war with our closest northern ally. As of today, these tariffs will put your jobs at risk. He's talking to Americans. Put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at grocery stores and gas at the pump. In emotional references to the nation, we have fought and died besides you. This is crazy, bro. And so they removed there's a rule called, this is from the American side, de minimis. Basically means if you're under a certain amount of value, you don't have to pay a tariff when you're crossing the border. If it's like $600 or whatever, you don't have to pay. They removed that. So now if your grandma in Canada sends you a package with a Nintendo Switch in it or something, she has to pay a tariff on that when it gets to Detroit. It's crazy. Like if a spectator sends me a portion of his paycheck, he has to pay a tariff, and he should, just because like I sort of like a really helpful friend. Good. Grammy has been leeching off Big Sam for too long now. Based, actually.
All right, so we'll take 20 minutes of questions, 20 minutes de questions.
Oh, questions. Let's hear it. Okay.
On the issue of
well, why are they? Why?
Of
I thought like 1/3 of the questions would be
French,
but they're all
They
French.
talk about a second wave of tariffs. Well, today's tariffs are rooted in the concern of the president with regards to fentanyl. The reality is that Canada represents a very small percentage of the fentanyl challenge in the U.S., and we're prepared to work with them to solve this issue in our communities as well as theirs, in as much as we can.
It's insane to blame Canada for U.S. fentanyl. If there's any country, I mean, you know, the real problem is we have people that are addicted to it because we have horrendous healthcare and deaths of despair in middle America that are pushing people into fent, you know? You can't remove all drugs, you have to remove the desire for them. But if there was a country where the fentanyl was sourced from that we would want to like, it would be China. China's where all of the fentanyl precursor comes from. Trying to find any other country other than China to find the source of the fentanyl is crazy. That's where the trafficking is from. That's where the money is made. That's where the profits go. And we have 10% on China and 25% on Canada.
Tariffs of 25% on everything that Canada produces is going to hurt American consumers, American producers.
I mean, so to be clear, it will hurt Canada more than America, but it will still hurt America. Like prices on things will go up here. It'll make things more expensive. It'll hit supply chains. It'll hurt Canada more than America. If the goal is to like bully them or hurt them more, then yeah, I guess we'll win. But you know what I'm saying? That's not a good alliance. We will make Canadian lives slightly worse because they export more to America than we, you know, it's a larger percentage of their economy than we import, but it's something like 30 out of 50 states. It's over half of all states their biggest trading partner is Canada. And then there's a bunch of states that are biggest trading partners, Mexico. And then there's a few to China. Those are the big three. Every state in America, their biggest trading partner is either Canada, Mexico, or China. So, you know, different states will be hurt differently, but there's not even like a real good goal outside of we want to stop fentanyl. Bro, if the demand for fentanyl is there, drug dealers will find a way. It's not like Trudeau can wave a magic wand and stop all smuggling from Canada. You know, this is just crazy. This is just not like, that's not even a good goal. The 51st state is a better goal. At least there's a territorial gain for America at the end. Like, the idea that the goal is to stop fentanyl trafficking is crazy. Dude, it's honestly annoying. I've been seriously trying to find like a couple executive orders this week that I can be like, hey, these are good at least. So I can balance it out a little bit. I'm being serious and I'm trying to find stuff. This has been like a waterboarding week of shit. There's been so many things that I think are just dumb. From like a, you know, Republican values point of view, I'm mad about. Like it makes my country weaker. It makes me, you know what I'm saying? It's like from a military strength, from a pride, from a patriot. I feel on those values.
All right, so obviously the story is developing pretty quickly, and this video was recorded on Saturday. As I've been editing it, I've been trying to stay on top of things just so that I can include anything that could be related. The biggest development I've seen is that Trump is going to pause the tariffs on Mexico for a month. And this comes in the wake of a call with the president of Mexico where they decided to send 10,000 soldiers to the US-Mexican border. These soldiers are to help with the drug trade and also immigration. We will see what happens at the end of this month, if the tariffs are going to be held off or if they're going to be sustained. In addition to the Canadian counter tariffs, there are also Chinese counter tariffs. After the stepped up 10% tariff on Chinese goods, they have vowed to enact countermeasures. Now, what those countermeasures are, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm sure that will be released soon. Okay, and right about when I was going to export, tried to get it by me. Now, Trump has said that they're going to pause tariffs on Canada as well. What's being talked about currently is a similar concession to the Mexican one, where they're going to implement a $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with choppers, other technology, personnel, as well as enhanced coordination with American partners. I assume this is exactly the kind of concession that Trump was looking for, and we're just gonna have to see whether or not it actually increases border security. We will also have to see what will happen in 30 days, if these tariffs will come back or if they will hold off.
Trump dropped his response. Let's see, what's Trump's response?
My favorite word. Tariff.